But life isn't hard to manage when you've nothing to lose. When you love, you wish to do things for. You wish to sacrifice for. You wish to serve. I love you enough now. What do you want to do? Ruin me? But man is not made for defeat. A man can be destroyed but not defeated. All my life the early sun has hurt my eyes. Yet they are still good. It is good that we do not have to try to kill the sun or the moon or the stars. It is enough to live on the sea and kill our true brothers. Fish, he said softly, aloud. I'll stay with you until I am dead. He is my brother. But I must kill him and keep strong to do it. Most people were heartless about turtles because a turtle's heart will beat for hours after it has been cut up and butchered. But the old man thought, I have such a heart too. I felt very lonely when they were all there. War is not won by victory. Now I am depressed myself, I said. That's why I never think about these things. I never think, and yet when I begin to talk I say the things I have found out in my mind without thinking. The coward dies 1,000 deaths, the brave but one? When people talk, listen completely. Don't be thinking what you're going to say. Most people never listen. The way to make people trustworthy is to trust them. Always do sober what you said you'd do drunk. That will teach you to keep your mouth shut. There is nothing to writing. All you do is sit down at a typewriter and bleed. The world breaks everyone, and afterward, some are strong at the broken places. The best way to find out if you can trust somebody is to trust them. There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow men. True nobility lies in being superior to your former self. An intelligent man is sometimes forced to be drunk to spend time with his fools. In modern war, you will die like a dog for no good reason. Happiness in intelligent people is the rarest thing I know. All things truly wicked start from innocence. Never think that war, no matter how necessary, nor how justified, is not a crime. Every man's life ends the same way. It is only the details of how he lived and how he died that distinguish one man from another. Never go on trips with anyone you do not love. There is no friend as loyal as a book. Never mistake motion for action. I like to listen. I have learned a great deal from listening carefully. Most people never listen. We are all apprentices in a craft where no one ever becomes a master. I learned never to empty the well of my writing, but always to stop when there was still something there in the deep part of the well, and let it refill at night from the springs that fed it. Time is the least thing we have of. What is moral is what you feel good after, and what is immoral is what you feel bad after. Hesitation increases in relation to risk in equal proportion to age. It's none of their business that you have to learn how to write. Let them think you were born that way. Fear of death increases in exact proportion to increase in wealth. Wars are caused by undefended wealth. My aim is to put down on paper what I see and what I feel in the best and simplest way. All good books have one thing in common: they are truer than if they had really happened. You can write any time people will leave you alone and not interrupt you. Or, rather, you can if you will be ruthless enough about it. But the best writing is certainly when you are in love. The only thing that could spoil a day was people. People were always the limiters of happiness except for the very few that were as good as spring itself. There is no rule on how to write. Sometimes it comes easily and perfectly, sometimes it's like drilling rock and then blasting it out with charges. If you have a success, you have it for the wrong reasons. If you become popular, it is always because of the worst aspects of your work. To be a successful father, there's one absolute rule: when you have a kid, don't look at it for the first 2 years. The game of golf would lose a great deal if croquet mallets and billiard cues were allowed on the putting green. They wrote in the old days that it is sweet and fitting to die for one's country. But in modern war, there is nothing sweet nor fitting in your dying. You will die like a dog for no good reason. A man's got to take a lot of punishment to write a really funny book. Cowardice is almost always simply a lack of ability to suspend functioning of the imagination. When writing a novel, a writer should create living people, people not characters. A character is a caricature. A writer of fiction is really a congenital liar who invents from his own knowledge or that of other men. You can wipe out your opponents, but if you do it unjustly, you become eligible for being wiped out yourself. For a war to be just, 3 conditions are necessary: public authority, just cause, right motive. I don't like to write like God. It is only because you never do it, though, that the critics think you can't do it. That is what we are supposed to do when we are at our best, make it all up, but make it up so truly that later it will happen that way. Decadence is a difficult word to use since it has become little more than a term of abuse applied by critics to anything they do not yet understand or which seems to differ from their moral concepts. The good parts of a book may be only something a writer is lucky enough to overhear, or it may be the wreck of his whole damn life and one is as good as the other. Once writing has become your major vice and greatest pleasure, only death can stop it.